Hi everyone, it's the Assyrian priestess with you. I hope this finds you well. Today I am doing an energetic reading for the collective. My intention actually is to look at universal energies because there's been some recurring themes that I'm wondering about. So I'm just shuffled from the Mists of Avalon Oracle by Rose Inserra, and we have Rhiannon as the first card out. I have way too many. Oh no, we can take it with a white heart in the shadow, and then I'm going to clarify with the Deviant Moon. So we have Rhiannon. We have the Priestess of Avalon. We have the Holy Thorn. And we have the Dragon. So I'm going to refer to the book because I need to. I'm not sure that they're all on screen. Okay. So, Rhiannon, card number 30. Here shown with her white stallion and the words integrity, perseverance, focus, and endurance. The Priestess of Avalon, healing, ancient knowledge, initiation, and divine inspiration. The Holy Thorn, perseverance again, courage, the sacred. And then the Dragon, which is a union card because there you can see these two dragons have found each other here. So let's refer to the little guidebook if you don't mind. So Rhiannon, the message of this card says, focus on areas of building yourself up, your self-confidence, worth, belief, and esteem, so that you can boldly step forward, creating the necessary change that you need. Stay focused on your desired outcome and trust that you are guided by spirit. So I guess this is a don't stray off your path message. Apparently, when the king first encountered Rhiannon, she was riding her horse so fast that the king could not catch her until he called out for her to stop. A free spirit and totally focused, the goddess Rhiannon shows us how to build self-confidence with endurance and grace. Apparently, Rhiannon is also known as the Dark Queen or the Queen of the Fairies. She is one of the 5 revered goddesses of Avalon. Interesting. I thought Marb was the Queen of the Fairies, but it could be the difference between English and Welsh mythology. Again, this is not my forte. I'm just obsessed with Avalon and Arthurian legend. Maybe obsessed isn't the right word. I'm fascinated, but I wish I knew more. So you can call on Rhiannon in your dreams to give you guidance. She was actually falsely accused of harming her own child, and she accepted the unfair punishment. So she also has a kind of women's justice message here, which does actually link us to the universal messages as well. The universal energies. I feel like women's justice, women's reproductive justice, women's mental health, all of these themes are really being used by the corporate media and the online media to divide people. Like, they're quite divisive conversations, unfortunately. It says here that it took years for Rhiannon's child to be found alive and well before she was believed. So, yeah, Rhiannon is a symbol of women's endurance. So if an injustice has been done to you, trust that you have done your part and that it will be revealed. The truth will be revealed. It's quite a tragic story, isn't it? And I want to go find out what the lyrics to Fleetwood Mac's Rhiannon say. I wonder if it's actually about this goddess, so let me know. Priestess of Avalon, card 25. The message is that you may have forgotten not only who you are, but what you are capable of in this lifetime. Break free from the confines that others have placed on you and reclaim your divine power. So this is the archetype of the priestess. So another very deeply feminine message. Hear the feminine in her power. So Rhiannon, I suppose, represents the feminine in her unjustly accused form, or in her oppressed form. Let's say the way that women are oppressed by systems of injustice. Whereas the priestess of Avalon represents women in their full sovereignty. So there is a transformation here universally in the collective, which is amazing. Now, the sacred thorn is also about the wound. So this brings us back to a global, energetic, universal energy of the wound. And I really feel like, how do I put this? Like there is unease in the realm. The people are no longer united. And I think one thing I love about Arthurian legend is there's this unknown child who, there's this prophecy about him pulling Excalibur from the stone and becoming the rightful king. And I've really been kind of meditating on that concept lately. With all this talk in the Tarotverse, there's a lot of talk of twin flames and divine masculine and feminine joining, etc. But then generally on social media, the opposite is true. It's like toxic masculinity is growing, women speaking out against injustice is also growing. And it seems like people are more and more at odds with each other. And so the Holy Thorn kind of reminds us to have courage and persevere and stay optimistic despite the wound. So if you come from the people who read the world as a metaphor, quote unquote, a spiritual person, then you will know what I'm talking about, that there is a need to heal the wound. There's a really cute little, is it a badger that's burrowed under the roots? I think it is a badger. And then we have a red fox here, one of my favorite creatures, woodland creatures. The message of the Holy Thorn is there's been some major struggles and challenging life experiences, and know that, life is change. But it is a painful card. It's a card of schism. And then we finish this oracle reading on card 13, the dragon, strength, power, pathfinder. And it says, don't let fear stand in your way, that dragon's fiery breath can burn away challenges, obstacles, and self-limiting beliefs. But I've meditated on this card before, and it sort of does really remind me of the Two of Cups card. It's a meeting of two people, and it sort of aligns with this concept of Okay, another thing I was meditating on, and I didn't realize this would be a philosophical reading, but hey, thanks for joining. That when we in society support the oppressed to get justice and put people in their true power, this doesn't cause a threat to the planet. It heals the planetary wound. And that's when we reunite. Also, if we are waiting for the rightful king to return, in antiquity, kings honored their royal lineage via the divine. And not the divine as we know it today, but in antiquity, for example, Assyrian kings had to claim to be born from the goddess, or you would never be in the royal house. So there is really this sense of, if we will be ruled rightly, then the masculine energy that is meant to represent justice must honor the goddess, must lay claim to being born from the goddess, which I suppose the message for that for me is honoring the divine feminine. And then we have the white heart in the shadow, which is the stag. And that's when I think things can move and things can change. So there is a universal energy here. I know that Black Moon Lilith is in a very special placement at the moment. I think she's moved into Sagittarius. I don't know for how long. So if you're an astrologer, please do let me know. Let's do a quick Deviant moon reading. So we have the Four of Wands, the card of union and coming together. This is divine masculine and feminine conjoining. Now, whether this is conjoining in our leaders or on the land between people, it's actually both in the same. So the more you see and hear people are splitting, there's more divorce, young people don't trust each other, like there's a lot of that messaging right now. That also can indicate a psychic split within the individuals as well. And so there's a strong message here that we must conjoin within first any opposing energies and do rightful masculine, rightful feminine. And by rightful, I mean not feminine in her oppressed state, but divine feminine in her sovereignty. And same with masculine, not masculine as oppressor, but masculine as the one who is here to rightfully caretake the lands for future generations, knowing that he has a holy duty to the goddess. I mean, if only. I don't know if I've got too many rose-colored glasses on. I probably do. But it is actually the truth of how I live my life. The next is the Wheel of Fortune, the Five of Wands. Oh, misaligned energy. So many forces at play. So many different forces at play, like enjoying the mischief and mayhem of disunity. And look, this card overlaps the Holy Wound. Tell me if you know about this tree, the Holy Thorn Tree. I know trees are very sacred in like Celtic and Welsh tradition. Celtic, Anglo-Celtic, I should definitely say. If that's your tradition, let me know. And the last card out, the moon. The moon. Yeah, these unions that need to happen are happening in the darkness first. Queen of Pentacles. They're not on Earth yet. They're happening in the 3D. This is a very sinister moon, but of course this is the Deviant moon, which I don't know if he gets it from Lorca. I don't know if he ever read the Spanish surrealist poet Lorca's work, but the moon's always demonic in Lorca's imaginary. Yeah. There's hope here, but in the face of it, things look very grim, cataclysmic, antagonistic, crunchy, clunky. Like, you can just hear the sound of these 5 wands. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen martial artists training with wooden swords. It's that sound of clanking when they're practicing how to sword play. And I sense that's what these 4 figures are here doing. And they're all sort of different class of people, if you notice as well, right? They're all dressed very differently. We've got a jester, we've got this kind of queen figure, we've got a priest figure, we've got a trickster, pagan, green man figure. So everyone's point of view is crashing against each other, when really the goal is union. And I think people who are aligned right now understand this. And however, the risk of that is forcing union when it shouldn't be. And I think priestesses definitely are, I don't want to say guilty of that, but we are guilty of that. Like, I think because priestesses basically live like monks. They meditate a lot, they're solitary a lot, they are in nature a lot, they're not under the influence a lot, you know. They're very connected, and I think when you're so connected, it's so easy to just see the beauty all the time. It's like, oh, but everything's beautiful and everything's fine and every human's beautiful. And so with this goal of beauty and gratitude and union, they can fall for things. Here we have the 6 of Cups. Yeah, which is the nostalgia card. It's that look on the bright side. And then we have the Death card, which is basically a rude awakening. A rude awakening that doing union for union's sake, you know, shaking hands with the devil because you're so hoping for union on heaven and earth. You so believe in as above, so below, that you'll even shake hands with the devil, just hoping and wishing for union, divine union on earth, because we're waiting for the king. And it's interesting, like, so many traditions are waiting for the return of the king. But the Death card says, don't be fooled, you will be devoured in the face of the devil. And then here we have the 4 of Cups going, yeah, actually, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I do need to withdraw, retreat. And, you know, the Magician at the end, maybe coming into union, starts with me first. We have the Tower in the shadow. There's a real sense of despondency as well. I really feel that. I meet so many amazing people who are so disheartened by all the disjuncture. It's almost like there's so many forces at play, like marionetting the disjuncture, which is precisely how the devil works. If you look at the original right away, the devil he's playing with people like a puppet master, you know. Yeah, so the Magician is definitely a number 1, a call to rise into your own sense of responsibility. What is it that you will create as an individual? The 8 of Swords, this feeling of feeling trapped in a tower, that the task is too great. The task is too great, so I'm just going to lock myself up in a tower, because if I dare jump out, look at what she's about to jump out to. Yeah, and the Hanged Man. I'm just making the figure more modest. Okay, lots and lots of cards. Can I have 2 concluding cards? Ace of Pentacles. Everything just seems so upside down right now. Oh, amazing. Knight of Wands with the Empress in the shadow. Oh my gosh, what an amazing Empress card. Isolating ourselves right now and not facing injustice head on will be a detriment. But also, if you are a seeker, a priestess person, if you're a masculine, then you're the mystic. You know, if you're a mystic, you love solitude, meditation, devotion, alone in the kind of forest time. That's the Hanged Man. This is the sacrificial god. So like many gods and ascended masters and teachers would tie themselves upside down to get enlightenment, or, you know, sit under the tree of life, of wisdom. So I can see here that the divine feminine is in a battle with injustice and the system, and the divine masculine and energies that are leaning towards that are also in a state of holding. There's a holding because a solution hasn't been provided, but a solution is coming. The Ace of Pentacles, it's an earth-based solution. Maybe this call to caretake the earth is what will ignite people's passions, the Knight of Wands. I mean, that's a very pagan thing to say, so don't judge me. I guess another thing could be financial. But yeah, he looks a bit sinister, this guy. If he's financial and it's an inverted pentagram, like, is that really the path? Like, you know. Here we have the Hermit. So everyone is self-isolating right now. Can't get more self-isolated than that. How will divine union occur when the feminine is playing the role of the Hermit and the masculine is playing the role of the Hanged Man? You tell me. Okay, I promised this would be short, and it's not. 3 of Wands, finding a solution for growth and working towards it together. There's got to be this shared vision, a shared vision for growth that gets people working together. That's a beautiful, actually, conclusion. And in that working together, we can at least begin the process of repair. Page of Cups, you know, he's a novice. But I feel like a shared vision with others that gets people working together could be the beginning of repair. Repair of the split, the psychic split. So I hope this was useful. I hope that if you are a person who is creating a shared vision for the collective, I commend you. We need you right now. I hope that this was pleasurable, enjoyable, and as always, I will leave you with my love and courage until we meet again. Bye for now.